Hi everyone, I'm just coming on quickly. I've done a few projects today, and I just want to show you what I actually used, because I think when you see what I've made with the product, I think you'd be quite surprised. Let me just find the right one, because that would really help. There we go, that one there. So this is DSP from Stampin' Up. I got part of a paper share, so I got a quarter of every single paper stack that there was. So in theory it works out roughly 2 6x6s of each pattern, which is absolutely fantastic for someone who is not a demo and they just want a little bit to try it and see if they like it before they actually invest in the full DSP, which I will be buying this because it's stunning. So part of a challenge on Stampin' for All, which is linked to Amanda Charlesworth. She is a demo for Stampin' Up, and she opened the group for inspiration, and for us all to share our love of crafting and our love of Stampin' Up, really. So there was a challenge this week and it was thankful was the theme. And then on Wednesday we had a colour challenge, and the colours to be used were Melon Mambo, Emerald Envy and Daffodil Delight. Now those are colours, if you watch my channel you will know that they're not colours that I normally tend to, I'm just going to put this light out because it's a bit on the bright side. They're colours that I don't normally tend to slant towards. I am much more of a muted person, more of a pastel colours, or we're black and white, monochromatic. That's kind of my thing. Bold and vibrant's not really me, so this was a challenge. So this was the card I came up with. Okay, and you can see it was this area here that I cut. So this was kind of my card. And what I did was I used the Many Marvellous markers, which gave me my deep dark colours. Here and here. And then I went in with my ink pads and my aqua painter to give me my more washed watercolory looks. This one here was actually my Daffodil Delight and Melon Mambo mixed together. I put the Daffodil Delight down first. While it was still wet, I just dropped in a few wee bits of Melon Mambo and just kind of brushed it in. And I quite like that, and I've done the same over here, just to give me another colour, because I felt it was a bit too blah. Just my opinion. Then I decided that I wanted to put it on black cardstock. At the moment, I have no black cardstock. I do have black mirror glossy card, but that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted something matte. So I improvised. I had this dark charcoal colour. There we go. It's a dark charcoaly colour. And all I did was actually just went round the edges. So that bit's starting to pop up. I went round the edges before I adhered this down. I went round the edges with my basic black Many Marvellous markers. Just went round the edge of it to give me that black, and it worked out great. I had a little scrap of black, so I put my banner across. A note of thanks, can't remember what stamp set that's from. Off the top of my head I just can't think. I've used some of the glitter dots. These are from the Succulent Garden framelets, or thinlets, sorry. I can't remember the name that they were, but it was Succulent Garden Suite from last year. And I done a watercolour on the top one using my ink pad, and the bottom one actually just pushed it into the ink pad, so it's a much deeper red, or pink, whatever. And then I've just put a wee glitter dot on there. and I have added just a little bit of Wink of Stella. Some of these I have added the Sakura clear Stardust pen. Some of them I've added the Wink of Stella. Some I've added Stickles. And I think it's really quite pretty for it just being a DSP. I mean, these flowers actually have them pre-cut, if I can find them, they're here. I had a pile of these pre-cut in the colours of the Succulent Garden Suite. And that's the same size one, I think. Yep. So you can see it's all perforated on the back to give you a bit of dimension. And all I did was coloured over that. The top one actually fussy cut round the black so that it's a tiny little bit smaller, and I've got a little bit of an extra layer there. But going from that to that, I think is superb, and it's a great way of using your DSP. So I had done that, and then I had a wee scrap left. So what are we? Where are we down to? We're down to about here. So I had this kind of bit here at the bottom left. So it's approximately what, two and a bit inches. So rather than waste it, I pulled out my scalloped tag topper punch, and this colours are a little bit different. Believe it or not, the blue in the background is actually Night and Navy, really, really watered down so that it gives it a little lift. Then I've used the Melon Mambo, I've used a little bit of Calypso Coral, watered down Melon Mambo Garden Green, and there's a little bit of Wisteria Wonder in it as well. But I just thought, what else would you do with this size? It would go into my scrap bin and it would probably sit there for about 6 months before I decided to do this anyway. So what I'm going to try and do is, when I'm making a card, if I have a decent sized scrap, I'm just going to work with it there and then while it's out and try and make something with it, so that my full basically sheet of DSP has been used. And I think it's superb. As I said, waste not, want not. Don't throw things aside. I mean, these are kind of the scraps that I was left with, which are basically nothing. I mean, you couldn't even do anything with them. So I'm quite proud of myself for being able to use the maximum amount from my DSP. So that was one, and that was from Stampin' for All. That was their challenges this week, and I was late as usual. This one was from Stampin' with Joy, which is Gaynor Boyce's Stampin' Up page. And this one I used I can't remember the name of it. Whoops. My son's been pulling out my label maker. He's going away on holiday with school tomorrow, so he's labelling everything. Fast and still, he'll end up labelling me as well, I think. Right, so it was, oh, sorry if I'm shaking you a wee bit. It's the Magical and Myths Speciality Designer Series paper. And it's iridescent glitter design on one side and colourful all occasion imagery on the other. And it was 12 sheets, 2 each of 6-sided design, 2 each of 6 double-sided designs, and there's an array of colours in it. So the sketch that we were asked to use was, right, I'll just see if I can pull it up. I'll dim that down quite a bit so that you can see it better. Photos. There we go. So, oops, I'm doing it again. I keep going to turn it over. That was the sketch design we were given to work with. And because I had used the larger, now I just used my punches for these, I could have pulled out my circle framelit dies, but for quickness I just punched them. And with the middle one, being a little larger, I used my 2 1/4 and 2 inch, so it is quite a large one, and I decided to make a 5.5 by 5.5 inch card, thinking I would have had enough room to have it aligned like that. It didn't work that way. So I decided that this would work just as well. The paper in the background is Bermuda Bay. Then I've got the Bermuda Bay glimmer paper, which was from Celebrations last year, and I've still got quite a fair bit of it left because I use it sparingly. This is designer series paper from the Myths Magical or Magical and Myths, and it's kind of like an iridescent embossed water effect, like bubbles. Then I used and I'll just show you them. I used these. So this is for unicorns, and they're kind of sparkly. And I used, I think it was 1 1/4, 1 3/8, something like that, and punched out 2 different coloured unicorns going different directions, just me and my funny bits. And the other side of it is just a crosshatch blue. Then I used this, and I just used my circle punch to punch out one of the wee mermaids. And again, on the other side, it's like a fish scale green. I'll bring it up there. There you go. It's like a fish scale. Sorry if I'm slurring a wee bit. My Bell palsy is playing up a wee bit today. Then, because I had these spaces, now ideally, when I'm gifting this to someone or when I'm sending it to someone, I will be writing happy, whatever their age, so happy 5th birthday. So it will be cohesive when I'm sending it. And I've just added some little punched hearts. If I bring that up, you should hopefully see it a little better. There we go. I'm just not used to this angle yet. There we are. So it's just some wee punched hearts, and I used just an old punch that I had. I don't even know who makes it. I've got a funny feeling it might be Woodware, but it's just a small punch. And to be honest with you, it's a nightmare to punch because my hands just swell up sometimes, so I don't use it very often. But it was ideal for this. And obviously I've got the banner at the back with the glimmer paper, and I think that's quite pretty. I would be quite happy to give that to my niece or any of the little girls that are my neighbours. Jaden does get invited to quite a few birthday parties around from my neighbours and things, and in fact my next door neighbour, her little girl is 2 this year, so this might very well be going to Daisy. But I thought it was quite pretty. The other day I made a gorgeous card, and I'm not going to lie, it took me a good bit of time to actually make it, but I love it. Now, I bought this second hand, so I wasn't actually sure who the die maker was, but hunting online today, looking for similar ideas, like the stained glass effect, I found out it's a Sue Wilson die, and I got it for a bargain price, absolute bargain. This is a die here, and when you look at it, you think, it's alright, because it is quite, what about it? It doesn't look anything like it is. What I did was I die cut it in black, then I die cut it in white. When I die cut it in white, I actually used my, my little Sizzix tool, and I actually scraped it off the plate so that all the bits stayed within the die cut, and I put it onto my surface. And then what I did was I used my Many Marvellous markers and I coloured it. Then I went back over it with some, and if I pull this up you'll be able to see it better, but I've been over it with different mediums. So like the green here is a Sakura metallic green. Then I've got my Stardust in pink. Then I've got my clear Stardust. Again, clear Stardust. This is a blue glitter Sakura. On this, I didn't add any glitter. I just added my, it was actually Callao I used on this. I thought it was my glossy accents because, as you can see, they're not much different apart from the glossy accents cloudy, but I just lifted the quickest one and it came out alright. It's got a glossy finish, so that's good enough for me. The white I left round the side because I think it pops better. Now I tried a load of different colours for matting it on, and if I'm honest, the pink was the best one because it worked with the pink flowers. I did try yellow, I tried blue, I even tried black, and it just was too garish. So this is nice and pretty, and I will add a sentiment when I know who it's going to, because it did, I'll be honest, it took me, I would reckon, probably about an hour and a half in total. And I know for card makers who have a business, that's a long time. But, pardon me, for card makers who do it for the love of making, it was ideal. It was absolutely ideal. As I said, after I coloured it all, I pieced it in. I put a black cardstock down. I added double-sided tape onto it all the way over. Then I added my frame. And then I started piecing in all the white parts and then my coloured parts that I coloured while they were in the white frame. And it did take a little while, and I actually lost one of these little parts that fell on the floor or into the black hole that is my craft room somewhere. And could I find it? Could I heck? So I actually had to die cut this little bit again in white. Basically I just took a scrap, ran it through the die cutter with just this wee bit so I could get one. Horrific. But it all ended well and I was so happy with it. I think it's really, really decorative, and I think if you were giving that to anyone, especially if it's another card maker, they're going to appreciate how much work has went into that, because it's not a quick card. That isn't a 2-minute card. So that was the cards that I've been making the last few days. I have had an order for Save the Dates. I had 60 little tags with the date on it, and all the bride has to do is just circle the date of her wedding and put on the reverse who it is and some details that they want to personalise on it. I didn't charge a lot, and then I just made a nice wee banner and a little tag, added on the back how much it was, and just added a few wee hearts and stapled it on. And I think it's quite pretty. I don't make orders regularly. It's not my thing because of my ailments. I can't be guaranteed to sit down and craft for 8 hours a day. I just can't do it. There's some days where I can't even get into my craft room, realistically. So I just make when I want to make and when I can. So when I do it, I like to make sure that they are well presented and that matches the colour scheme that she was looking for. And again, I just use my scraps for the wee tag. And I like it. So basically that's it. I think I've not really done anything else. Nope. I'm just looking about to see, but I don't think so. I think that was it. So I'll maybe pop on later and do a similar DSP colouring tutorial, perhaps. And we'll make my wee gift tags so that you can see how easy it is to incorporate both together, because it's not difficult. Anyway, I will love you and leave you, and I will speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.